เดี๋ยวนะ Hello. Hello, good
Good morning,
morning.
good
Hello.
morning.
Yeah. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
people. Welcome to
Traffic
Arktoberfest
morning.
2020. My name is Adrian Tampolino. I'm zooming in from Singapore and we are broadcasting live from Manila, Philippines. And this is, of course, Arktoberfest 2020, brought to you by Boysen, the number one paint, Crown
Okay,
Pipe, the number one pipe, Duma
number one
Floors,
five,
the number one floors, and of
number one
course,
floor.
powered by ITC Corporation. Salamat, Mikey.
Salamat,
Maraming salamat.
Mikey.
Yes,
Yes.
of course, co-hosting with me this morning in this great weekend because we have a lot of speakers and a lot of things in store for you today is
Mhm.
our Vice President for Programs and Development Architect Archie Tolentino. And of
Good
course,
morning.
already that is our President, Architect Bon Stararemo. Hello!
Good
Hello,
morning. Traffic
guys. Good
morning.
morning. Yes, good morning.
Good
Ano na?
morning.
Yes. Don't you think it's an awesome day today? Because eto na.
It's gonna be
We
a long and
have a
awesome day.
guest, a star architect from Tokyo, and of course, this afternoon we have a lot of again international speakers speaking on
Yes.
our screens for today.
Ubusan ng English to.
Yes. Ubusan ng English to. But of
Uh,
course, yeah. So ano bang meron ngayon? Ano, Archie, anong meron?
okay. Good na tanong mo yan kasi bakit pa tayo nag-online na naman ng ganito kaaga? Hindi tayo sanay. So, we're online 10 a.m. for this last leg of
Mm.
Arktoberfest 2020. So, this is going to be the last weekend for this year's celebration. And today, Saturday, is going to be a long day for us, starting with this morning session. Let me just splash to you yung schedule for today, just so everyone watching, you can schedule your day around this, or if you're interested to attend
Tuned
some of
in.
our free, well, all of them are free, free seminars, talks. So this morning we're going to have architect Kotaro Horiuchi, as
Yeah.
Tamps said. This afternoon we're gonna have three, ano ba tawag doon? Internet of Things, pero ngayon yata blockchain of things na ang
Yes,
tawag.
blockchain of things.
So there's gonna be like three experts this afternoon. Very relevant yung blockchain of things na yan, because right now with the COVID and everything, so everything is moving into touchless technology, diba? Mga automation, ganyan. So if you
Yes.
are interested, tune in later today, 1 p.m. We will have Silvestre Real, Alberto Buan, Ricardo Ayosa Fazano, from VDA Technologies. Yeah. So, and later tonight, we will have a closing program. So, to talk more about the closing program tonight, let's welcome to the show our chapter president, architect on
Oh,
Stararemo.
hello. Good morning. Good morning, chapter mates and our guest audiences. Good morning. Sorry, I'm in a traffic. Pero, sige lang. Laban tayo.
Laban, laban, laban.
Oo.
Yan, yan.
Ayan.
Yun,
Good
so,
morning, Architect Jehan D.
architect Jehan,
Hello,
ang
good
ating guest.
morning, Jehan.
Sino maaga. Thank you for joining us last night, architect Jehan.
Thank
It was
you.
a
Yes.
pleasure to have you on the show. Yan. Of course, our top
Hajime
fan,
Master.
Jordan.
Si Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Yan, good morning. Clarice Joy Butardo,
Clarice
good morning
Choi.
to
Good
you.
morning.
Yan. Before we introduce the speaker, Tamps, let me just invite everyone watching. Tonight, we're gonna have a closing ceremony, like I said earlier, and we will have a little bit of a recap of what happened throughout the month of October. So, total of how many speakers ba tayo? 2, 3, hindi ko na mabilang, 9 yata. 9 speakers.
Or,
A mix of local and foreign speakers. And tonight, we're gonna have a sort of a Thanksgiving night. So everyone who watched the show, logged in later, and we will have raffle prizes for you guys. Just to say thank you for joining us this year. Looking forward to
yeah.
next year. Yeah. So without further ado, Tamps, Architecty,
Yes.
can you introduce our guest for this morning?
Okay. We are honored and grateful to have this art architect to join us in our Oktoberfest for this year. Architect Kotaro Horiuchi is a architect and an industrialist. Okay. Uh, their work is sorry. Yeah. Their work is a finalist selection from in 2019 for the Notre Dame Cathedral Reconstruction Design Competition. Architect Kotaro Horiuchi worked in Meccano in Netherlands while he was studying in grad school. Then he worked for Dominique Perrault, the famous designer for the National Library of France in France from 2005 to 2009. Kotaro Architecture was founded in 2005. Then he established Kotaro Horiuchi Architecture Incorporated to act as a representative director in Paris in 2009. In 2015, he moved to Kotaro Horiuchi to become the chairman. Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation was then established in Mina, Miyawiyama, Tokyo in 2020, so very recent. Okay. Uh, the Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation was founded as Kotaro Architecture in 16E Arrondissement de Paris in 2005 by architect Kotaro Horiuchi himself. In 2008, he was renamed it was renamed Kotaro Horiuchi Architecture and moved to Il Saint Louis in Paris and corporatized in 2009, established in Paris, Tokyo, and Nagoya. Mr. Architect Kotaro Horiuchi acts as the first representative director of the company. In 2015, he reorganized to Kotaro Horiuchi to be based in Paris and Tokyo. Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi acted as a chairman in 2018 in the Tokyo office. Of course, it was moved in Mina, Miyawiyama. The digital nomad becomes the main work style of their company. So everyone is a digital nomad in their company right now. The
Wow.
staff at
Wow.
the studio, yeah, the staff at the studio, the staff all work globally for the studio
Mm.
from their homes around the world.
Wow. Work from
We,
home.
yeah, work from home. They are a legit work from home office.
Before pa mag-COVID siguro.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, until now, there are no staff members from 21. There are there are staff members from 21 countries.
Wow.
Therefore, the offices in Paris and Tokyo becomes unmanned offices. In
Oh, wow.
2020, Kotaro Horiuchi has been corporatized.
Mhm.
Their office until has projects for in 56 cities in 27 countries. The typologies include public facilities,
Mhm.
cultural facilities,
Mhm.
commercial space, to housing complex, residents, and renovation of shop and offices, furniture and lighting,
Mhm.
product, glass, jewelry design. They want to extend the possibility of urbanism architecture in various scales. So their company is really, really what do you call this? Uh has a lot of awards, of
Mm.
course. Yes,
Multi-awarded, international award.
multi-awarded, and maybe finalists. In
Mm.
2003, uh, Kotaro Horiuchi was a Japanese delegate of the first International Architecture Biennale in Rotterdam
Mm.
and featured Mobility, a Room with a View, the Tokyo Ring project. In 2011, Japan Commercial Design Award, they are second place. In
Mm.
2012, the World Architecture Community Award, I think they won in the United States. In
Wow.
2014, uh, they are included in the Best 100 for the Japan Commercial Environmental Design Association Design Awards for, of course, 2014 in Japan.
Dami.
Yes. Wait, marami pa.
Okay,
And
go.
in 2014, Japan's Design Association Award. In 2014, again, they garnered an Excellence Prize in Japan Design Space Association.
Wow.
In 2015, another award from the World Architecture Community Awards in the United States.
Mhm.
In 2015, the in Germany, They have garnered an award from Germany in IF Design Award. And in
Wow.
2019, of course, they are a finalist selection for the Notre Dame Cathedral Reconstruction Design Competition. Ladies
Mm.
and gentlemen, may I present to you architect Kotaro Horiuchi zooming in from Japan.
Kotaro Horiuchi, welcome to the show, sir. Welcome to the show. Wait,
Hello,
can you
sir.
hear us? Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello. Good
There.
morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Architect Kotaro, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you this morning. Um, to we it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Um, Today we have our co-host for today. It's Adrian Tampolino and Architect Bon Sarmiento. Nasa starstruck ako. Tamps eh. Nasa starstruck ako. Grabe. Ang haba kasi nung binasa mo eh. So I think they've been closely coordinating with you before this date through email. And we thank you for obliging to our invitation.
Yes, it's really a privilege for us to have you here as our guest on our last week of our Arktoberfest event.
Okay, so if you have any nothing else to add, we will give you the floor to what do you have for us today, sir?
Okay, so we gonna start.
Okay, let me just try and pull this.
He will be
There you go.
talking about the Tokyo 2021, right?
Exactly. Greetings. I'm Kotaro Horiuchi, the founder of Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation. I appreciate being invited to give a lecture for Philippines while I'm in Japan. Let's get started.
First, please let me introduce to you Mr. Kotaro and Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation.
Kotaro Horiuchi, founder of the Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation, architect, industrialist. Notre Dame Cathedral Reconstruction Design Competition, finalist selection from the world in 2019. 2003. Mr. Kotaro was working in Mecklenburg in the Netherlands while studying in grad school and PPAG in Austria. He then worked for Dominique Perrault, the famous designer of National Library of France, in France from 2005 to 2009. Kotaro Architecture was founded in 2005. Then he established Kotaro Horiuchi Architecture Inc. to act as representative director in Paris in 2009. In 2015, he moved to Kotaro Horiuchi to become the chairman. Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation was established in Minami Ayama, Tokyo in 2020. (2019) Notre Dame Cathedral Reconstruction Design Competition finalist selection. (2015) IF Design Award. 2015 World Architecture Community Awards. 2014 Japan Design Space Association Design Award Excellence Prize. 2014 Japan Sign Design Association Award. 2014 Japan Commercial Environmental Design Association Design Award. 2012 World Architecture Community Awards. 2011 Japan Commercial Environmental Design Award. 2003 Japanese delegate of the first National Architectural Biennial Rotterdam Mobility, a Room with a View, Tokyo Ring Project. Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation was founded as Kotaro Architecture in 16E Arrondissement de Paris in 2005 by Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi. In 2008, it was renamed Kotaro Horiuchi Architecture and moved to E. St. Louis in Paris. Corporatized in 2009, established in Paris, Tokyo, and Nagoya. Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi acts as the first representative director. In 2015, he reorganized to Kotaro Horiuchi to be based in Paris and Tokyo. Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi acts as the chairman. In 2018, the Tokyo office was moved to Minami-Ayoma. Digital Nomad becomes the main work style. The staff at the studio all work globally and from their homes around the world. We want the studio to create global architecture. Until now, there are staff members from 21 countries. Therefore, the offices in Paris and Tokyo become unmanned offices. In 2020, Kotaro Horiuchi had been corporatized. Until today, our project's been over 56 cities and 27 countries. The topologies include public facility, cultural facility, commercial space, to housing complexes, residences, and renovation of shop and office, furniture and lighting, product, glass, and jewelry design. We want to extend the possibility of urbanism in architecture and work in various scales. The first solo exhibition in Tokyo, Exposition Kotaro Horiuchi 2019 to 2020, Trajectory to the Future, has been held in 4 places in Tokyo since 2019 to 2020. The architect, Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi, has built a work style based on his variety of knowledge of design and experience that can cooperate with staff from worldwide. Since it was founded in 2005, Mr. Kotaro Horiuchi has worked on a wide range of projects from public to private, architecture and interior, even the product design. With the client's request, Kotaro Horiuchi puts the point of emphasis on the process of deciphering the existing living environment, then looking back to the past, present, and the future, proposing a loosely familiar space design that will melt into the lifestyle. While the whole world is in a COVID-19 pandemic, we have already become a fully remotely working studio since 2018. All of the expert staff live around the world and act as digital nomads so that they can work from home, even from a hotel or a cafe. By doing this, all of the work is managed by an online platform. The time zone doesn't matter either. All of the staff can work on projects in the place and time they choose. The biggest merit of this is that we look to the world for projects even when there is a domestic recession. By Asana, Unlimited Google Drive, when I work, we can manage and communicate with each other in the world. With Corona, remote working has become widespread. There have been rapid changes in lifestyles, and work styles have also changed. But since there was an original base, we continued to work similar to how we did before the coronavirus. Because of this, there have been applications from staff from all over the world, and at the same time, all the work is going on the same online platform. This is our greatest strength, because some of our staff are working 24 hours a day, and holidays vary from country to country. Regardless, if there is no overtime, it is possible to get holidays and paid leave in each country. For our clients, it used to take time and money to move when they were based in Paris to Tokyo and Nagoya. But for any small project in the world, renovation of small huts, houses, stores, and offices, furniture design, etc., the staff closest to the client city can visit the site immediately without incurring unnecessary costs. Normally, meetings with clients all over the world and meetings between staff members are all attended online, regardless of distance and time difference.
Therefore, our office has only a place in both the Tokyo office and the Paris office, where no one is physically working. It has become a place where you occasionally go to pick up your luggage and mail. The staff does not go to work without calling the owner or the contractor except for the occasional face-to-face board meeting. Since these work styles are proceeding without any hindrance in the Corona wreck, the office is reduced rather than expanded. The rental cost is reduced, and the design is unique to a compact space. We encourage each staff member to turn a part of their home into a home workspace. Staff are distributed to any place other than the city center and connected via network.
Now, with the background of how our studio is ahead of most, I will briefly introduce the future flow of how architecture will change.
Content. Architecture is between solid and void. Material tech. With post-COVID-19. Architecture from now on. First, I would like to introduce the remaining projects in the Notre Dame Cathedral Reconstruction Design Competition finalist selection. Floating Forest. Everything in the world is always changing, never eternal. Japanese sometimes describe this as mujo, or vanity. The burning of the spire and the roof of the Notre Dame is something we cannot change. So the intent is not to make additional things where the spire and roof once was. Instead, we incorporated minimum parts for the history and future of Notre Dame itself. We think the tragic burning of Notre Dame as a part of events in the huge history of humanity. Keeping the void for evoking the origin of Paris and open for all. Instead of reconstructing the spire and roof completely, only the structural framework made by metal is constructed. It is not only paying homage, but also for feasibility. Maximum temperature of the fire is approximately 1200 degrees Celsius. The melting point of the metal is approximately 1538 degrees Celsius and has excellent fire resistance. The cross of the Notre Dame that did not burn down was made by materials with similar melting points. Framework inherited what Notre Dame was, becoming spontaneously green when time goes by. The Toit Terrace, roof terrace to be floating forest, which is blended with Paris, not only incorporates the history to present, but should be a place open to people all over the world as a new Notre Dame. Hull, made by the burning of the spire, inherits what remains from the tragedy. Covering the hull with glass prevents rain entering, whilst people can stroll and peer through it. Gazing through the empty hole is similar to thinking over something. Such behavior is also like a look towards God, akin to the religious activity reflecting the nature of the building. The light overflowing from green and blood from hole is bringing up the darkness inside and making stratified spaces, which can only be experienced when the people are there. Site Island, where Notre Dame resides, is said to be the birthplace of Paris. Here, the horizon of void is accidentally forged by fire. Framework inherited what Notre Dame was, a hole made by fire. Nobody knows whether the tragedy of Notre Dame was an accident or inevitable. And floating far symbolizes revival. Keeping void space symbolizes the origin of Paris, an existence which remains with us, past, present, and future. We want to keep Notre Dame as the Holy Mother to continue affectionately watching the people of Paris. April 15th, 2019. I was in Tokyo that day. The sudden burning of the Notre Dame pierced my heart deeply. Both my home and my office in Paris are on the neighboring island of St. Louis on this scene, and Notre Dame has always existed in my daily life. As various thoughts were racing through my mind, I began to think about what I could do. So I summarized my thoughts with the staff, including a discussion about what Notre Dame should be. Around a month later, a competition was suddenly held, and there was an interesting story on the internet that everyone in the world had the right to vote. I asked the competition committee for that information, asked what to do, and moved from the thinking process of the roof garden. This was my answer. From there, discussions deepened on how to express the roof garden, and it soon became the final model. Here, we proceeded with the project with an emphasis on inheriting history by making use of the imaginary space created naturally. We recognize that our project makes heavy use of the void and hall to connect with the internal and external relationships of the project and create a state in which architecture blends into the city. Similarly, I will introduce a project that makes very heavy use of hall. A Metosendo apartment, responding housing complex. The apartment house blends into the chaotic street of a Metosendo. It softly wraps in a double-layer facade cut out by countless holes. Light and dark are divided like the lattice of a Kyoto townhouse, allowing one to gain a glimpse of the outside from within, whilst concealing the line of sight from outside. This project came from a request from a first-class architect office in Japan, who often handles apartment buildings as the design supervision. This is a project that specifically mentions the ideal facade while designing several apartments. With a limited budget, the focus was on how far we can achieve it. Ambivalent sand cinema. The project started with what we could do on a very tight budget. First of all, if the materials are not composed of local production for local consumption, there is not enough budget to import them. As a result, a large amount of sand that was on the local beach is used as material and hardened with a 3D printer. Since there is a 3D printer made of sand in Odara City, Kanagawa Prefecture, we went to the factory with Egyptian and British staff. After going through various samples, we decided to reconstruct this project using local sand and a local 3D printer. Salon du Fromage, Paris. I remember this project was very difficult. I was still in my 20s working at Dominique Perel's office in Paris, France, and I personally talked about this project. At that time, it was called Kotaro Architecture, and at my home in St. Louis Island, a staff member and a secretary worked on various projects such as competitions and renovations. I hadn't rented an office yet, and I opened the living room and atelier on the lower floor of the masonette to the staff as a workspace, and the upper floor as my bedroom and workroom. Before I went to Dominique Perel's office, the staff started working at my house, had the first meeting in the morning, and while I was working at Perel's office, the staff worked and went home. At the same time, I was proceeding every day in the form of having a meeting again. The main concept of this project was the position of the stairs connecting the upper and lower floors in relationship to the facade. We came to the conclusion that no glass was needed on the facade due to the climate of Paris and the setting of a cheese storage temperature of 5 degrees. That means that you could run a cheese boutique in a completely open state. However, if it seems to be completely open as it is no difference from the greengrocers and fishmongers in that area. Therefore, I wondered if it would be possible to make good use of the lattice principle found in geometria and bring some ingenuity to the facade. From there, you can see invisible and get a glimpse of the inside, where people passing by the street look inside. You can flicker the outside from the inside. Depending on the difference in brightness between inside and outside during the day and night, the appearance and hiding will change. However, this project went down to the permission of the confirmation application period in Paris, and even the structural proof of shifting the position of the atrium and reinstalling the stairs was obtained, but unfortunately it could not be realized due to the opposition of the residents. Elderly people who continue to live in houses with slanted ceilings, floors, and walls in a 400-year-old building in Paris, which was already tilted, create a new atrium and the floor becomes smaller, which makes them even more themselves. There is a possibility that cracks will enter the residential area of the building, so it cannot be permitted. Many people said that they couldn't get the majority. In fact, it has proved structurally that there is no problem with structural reinforcement, and despite the fact that the city of Paris has issued a permit, the client burst into tears on the spot, and for the past year, he had been trying hard to dream of opening the store while paying rent, but the residents had no rights and couldn't even talk about the interior design of the store. Shouldn't it? There is no such mechanisms in Japan, and the opening of the 23rd store has taken an unexpected direction. Thus, the client and us have launched on a new project. The facade uses a perfect circle as the shape of the whole, and gradually increases and decreases in size to different sizes. The backside of the double skin repeats the opposite. The facade was loosely connected while gradually changing the way the interior and exterior were connected. But due to the prolonged economic pressure caused by the design period, the facade was simplified. The stairwell cannot be executed, and the staircase position remains the same. What can be done on that basis was the key to the project. We focused only on the idea of connecting the upper and lower floors with a single curved wall, three-dimensional, and carried out the project. Graceful architecture. The facade is made out of double layers of aluminum sheets that are perforated with various sizes of numerous circles. The boundary of interior space and exterior becomes obscure since the air and light naturally goes through the holes in both ways. People walking on the street will see fragments of the inside space of the boutique, and people in the Salon du Fromage will have a glimpse of the outside world. The room environment that is required by the nature of cheese and Paris's climate determined the boutique to have an open space planning inside the shell of a historical facade. Graceful architecture. Cylinders of various sizes are sprinkled in a tight space, and 350 kinds of cheese are decorated like doodles on it. People taste and experience while migrating. The restaurant is on the second floor, which is connected by a cubic curved wall. The cube-shaped open kitchens of various sizes of artificial marble are all designed to be movable, and the water is designed to rotate around the world's water supply drainage. Innumerable holes are made in each piece of furniture, table, chair, and lighting, allowing light to pass through and replacing this with the gradation of shadows. table plie, an extremely thin desk and chair made of glass fiber. With the power of the material, a desk and chair in simple form, just like folding paper, was not possible. There are innumerable holes on the top plate, and you can use it by inserting wine glasses. The experiment was repeated over and over again in order to thoroughly pursue how thin an ordinary desk and chair could be made. By making holes, the structural balance was maintained, and the holes were functional. Countless holes of various sizes are made on translucent, milky, cube-shaped artificial marbles that are seamlessly melted and joined together to create differences in the density of shadows projected on the walls. Will acrylic be cheaper, or will the load be heavy and the ceiling will be overloaded? Can it be done with artificial marble? While repeating the experiment with artificial marble many times, the joint part can be seamlessly connected. It is inconspicuous and it changes to soft light. So in the end, it was decided to make it with artificial marble. As for how to make holes, we tried quadrangles, rhombuses, ellipses, perfect circles, etc., and finally decided to make holes with different sizes of perfect circles, in which the shadows that overlap each other were most beautifully expressed. It's nostalgic that it was compared to the cheese-like lighting that appeared in Tom and Jerry after it was announced in the media. By not only increasing the number of buildings, but also reducing them, we create a loose relationship with the external space through the facade, walls, and ceilings that surround the internal space, and bring depth to the space. Spaces that continue to be connected slightly change the way we see each other. While pursuing the ideal form of these architectural facades and their internal and external relationships, we decided to reflect the architectural concept in various products. Next, we're doing big to really small projects, shaping the concept of architecture as it is and reflecting it in every product. As specific examples, there are wine glasses and jewelry that are currently being commercialized and developed, so I will introduce them. These projects are made in Japan and all processes are carried out in Japan. There is a hole in the glass for holding wine. The architecture is condensed and expressed as a glass. Looking into the hole that floats quietly in the glass is similar to the act of glimpsing the lattice of a kiyomachiya, creating a relationship between the inside and outside. Light is transmitted and the shadow of the outline of the hole is projected on the surface of the wine. The marriage of glass roundness and holes that pursues the utmost to create the optimum environment for each aged wine. The curve of the glass, drawn by the Bézier curve, smoothly repeats, spreading and wilting, and fluidly and gently connects to the 3 holes drawn by the Bézier curve. This softly wrapped aroma drifts through the holes and blends into the surroundings, allowing you to enjoy the wine. A glimpse of the scenery looking up from the hole below. Gaze at the wine so that it does not overflow from the hole, and the existence of the hole is highlighted. By passing through the hole to the act of drinking wine, a new enjoyment is added, and the activity is vividly colored. Think about your loved ones and induce contact and communication with them. Description of item: Burgundy, Bordeaux, Champagne, Alsace. Enjoy the wines of each region. There are 4 glass types. Each glass is adapted to the nature of the wine and the area, and blends from shape to hull. The champagne glass beautifully charms the delicate bubbles, and the bubbles and holes blend together to create a fantastic atmosphere. The wine enters the mouth smoothly, entwines the tongue, and slowly falls to the back of the throat. Emphasize with friends who share the place with the glass and chat with friends in remote areas who share time. Made one by one using the technique of blowing up to the rim, bowl, stem, and plate of the glass with a single blow and opening the holes at once before the heat cools, which can only be realized by the traditional technique of the one and only traditional craftsman. Every process from the design is carefully finished one by one with Made in Japan. You can enjoy the difference in the holes of each Bézier and the balance of the set. Originally, when I returned to Japan and was looking for a delicious wine bar in Tokyo, I found out about an organic wine bar owned by a Frenchman through an acquaintance. After that, I became friends with the owner and asked if I would like to hold an exhibition at the wine bar, which led to the event. At that time, I received a suggestion to sell some goods, and when I suggested the design of the wine glass, he kindly agreed and decided to develop the wine glass. Minimize architecture and express it as jewelry. We can compare the 3D volume of facades of architecture as earrings and necklaces. Currently, one of our officers is an old friend of 20 years who has gained consulting experience and is on the path of creating jewelry. A few years ago, we met again for the first time in a long time and started working together to minimize this architecture. Basically, the software used is Rhinoceros and the extension is the same. Data migration is smooth. We have made final adjustments for jewelry and have realized it. There are a lot of difficult parts such as fine adjustment, and while making fine adjustments, the most beautiful jewelry is produced. Next, we'll study new materials. In our project, exhibition activities are always run in parallel with design activities. As a mechanism, the person who provides the place will make a name for himself in each country of the world. Next, we are looking for supporting companies to provide new materials free of charge. Sometimes the sponsoring companies offer us some, and sometimes we find new materials and talk to the companies. In addition, it has been established with the support of the equipment and funds required for the exhibition. We will continue to experiment at exhibitions around the world in the sense that we will continue to explore new materials and new ways of using existing materials. The wine glass I mentioned earlier was also commercialized after the exhibition at the wine bar. Solo Exhibition 2014 Fusioner 1.0 holds with droplets floating. Dive, go to the back and sometimes disappear, but was visibly previously suddenly vanishes and a new landscape takes place. Two huge floating membranes divide the space into 3 verticals. The holes in the membranes are meant to obscure the borders. The light passes through the swaying membranes, projecting the shade of light to another membrane, creating change. Putting up membranes with an angle enables holes of different heights. Users can move from hole to encounter new people or objects, gather in one hole or stand at another one. It is a space which brings people together and encourages communication. Solo Exhibition 2014 Fusioner 2.0 Paper Cave. Being wrapped up in a soft white light, the moment you set foot, time slows down. There's a 3-dimensional curved surface cave made by papers hanged side by side. The holes in the facade let the comforting light enter inside. A table made of artificial marble drawn by the height variations from a free curved surface and appears to float. Due to the hole's depth, we adjusted the light transmittance to 5 levels. The table stand also creates a unique place by creating a smooth curved surface. Being a place where people gather and discuss, it can be used as an office, a saloon, a meeting place, a lounge, or a bar. The function of the space depends on the people, being flexible in that respect. Solo Exhibition 2014 Fusioner 3.0 Air House. Thin and pure white layers of papers are floating fluidly in the air. At the front, there's a small entrance shaped like a gabled roof. When you go inside by squeezing in, you can slowly notice a silhouette of a house, which seems to change its size continuously. A space like a hideout spreads. As you come closer to the back, the silhouette of gabled roof gets smaller until it finally ends as a small window. The experience feels like the air spreading inside, where you can discover models hidden between the papers. It is a place to gather, discuss, to enjoy the moment, and even lay down. You will feel by chance what is happening outside of the air house by communicating through the windows and cracks of the house. a reprint of the paper Kami in Japanese Cave that took place in 2014. It appeared for the first time in 4 years at an exhibition held from 2018 to 2019. Since it straddled the year-end and New Year holidays, bamboo pierces the holes in the table covered with vegetables. The people who visited this shrine described it as a cave of God, Kami in Japanese, as if they had visited the shrine for the first time, and even some people are offered money at the end of the cave. Various stories are made by the visitors of the exhibition. Different countries and cities have different cultures and environments, and various events occur. The word and actions of the visitors are always inspiring. Solo Exhibition 2019, Trajectory to the Future, Lumiere Brillante. Membrane and Stratum. Marunouchi Office. Dozen of spaces covered with a transparent coating forming a single piece, sometimes a ceiling or wall. The space can be freely segmented with the film, according to the activity of the person who is the subject. The transparent film changes due to transmission, reflection, and absorption of light, creating spaces that change with the movement of people, reflecting the scenery and color of the space.
It was used for exhibition also, and using for as office for working.
New materials and new uses of existing materials are calculated by algorithms using a new design method using the latest technology, pursuing shapes and thinness that have never been possible before. As the time changes, the significance of the existence of architecture is also changing. Kotaro Horiuchi Corporation will continue to search for a new way for the 22nd century, pass it on to the next generations, and leave as many beautiful architecture behind. Finally, there is an office that receives many requests from client companies that have been damaged by Corona. Cost reduction will be realized by reducing the office to only the minimum required space and consolidating it to only the minimum required functions. A closed conference room where the functions are concentrated only for gathering, and an open entrance hall and reception as a shared space for everyone. We are proposing an office that concentrates on the conference room as a function and the entrance as the design. Le comptoir des fruits et légumes. A counter bar with a total length of 4 meters to serve organic vegetable and fruit drinks at the entrance of the spa and beauty salon, drawing a smooth curved surface and slide to the wall to reach the ceiling. The shape of the curved surface changes while keeping the necessary minimum functions. People find the height that suits them and experience this comfortable time. As the work child has changed due to all the functions that have been made into one-room renovations, whether detached houses or condominiums for new homes and homes. Distribute the required number. We will introduce these houses as an example. Villa Toutier, a house covered with a large roof. The shape was determined from the 40-degree roof slope and 7-meter height regulations that are traditionally found in this area. By placing the roof, several semi-exterior gardens are created between the house and light from the hole in the roof. The inner housing consists of 2 main residences for guests and clients to avoid existing large trees. Une Lange said, "Du séjour" connects one house with a slender living room. Living with a character like the streets of the town is a family public space that bends, widens, and narrows, adjusting the distance between the family, guests, and local residents while enhancing their relationships. The living room modifies according to the changing family structure. A long single street is the case for core of the communication that connects the family. We are doing a lot of renovation of apartment model rooms and apartments, both new and old. Ensuring the distance between people and the opening up of the space is a departure from the box-shaped building architecture of the 20th century. The architecture is like a cave in the forest or a hut in the trees. It goes in the direction of being open and becomes primitive. Taking the opportunity of Corona to advance to a low-carbon society is also an indispensable element in the building future of architecture, the future of cities, the future of the earth, and the future of space. Conclusion. Finally, I would like to introduce various competition proposals that the KH staff have created. Guggenheim Museum. The Art Museum in Helsinki, Finland, by the Solomon R. Guggenheim Foundation, features an ambiguous space on site between the sea and park, serving as an extension to both. It is like a forest in the sea. Its quiet presence reflects the aurora borealis in Finland, fascinating spectators passing by and bewitching those that visited. The smooth structure is expressed using local timber. Going through the 3 exhibition spaces, the interior possesses a softness that flows like an aurora close to the sky, the forest, and the sea. Their existence blends with each other element, allowing a glimpse as you go back and forth between the exhibition rooms. Utilizing the location of Helsinki seaside, the area becomes a node where art and people entwine. Afghanistan New National Museum. The proposition of the new National Museum of Afghanistan is to give autonomy to the tangible and intangible context of this country through architecture. In other words, it aims to expand and develop according to the changes of Afghanistan, while texturing past and present events, as well as passing through ancient conservation and historical relics. It is an ancient relic before history, coexisting with the past, the future, and surrounding landscape of prehistoric times. These 4 elements define its existence, intertwined with each other, and bring out the essence to express Afghanistan as a whole and become a new cultural base. The museum is planned and part of the entire site, covered with high walls around for security. The strong architectural form was required to withstand attacks from outside the fence. A box-shaped exhibition room is intersped with the entire structure close to the outside. Traveling around the various scattered exhibition rooms, each level changes with a ring that penetrates the interior. Each space is open to the courtyard waterfront of the ring and communicates with the exterior. The ring is made up of a gradation pattern of a size that reproduces the Afghan motif, respecting history. People move around the exhibition space with a glimpse of the water side and the open courtyard. Helsinki Central Library, Roots. While maintaining its function as a library, the architecture, as if wrapped in a large thin film, is adjacent to the northwest of Helsinki Central Station and is integrated with the surrounding environment from numerous holes of various sizes, both inside and outside the building. Light falls, with the inner space enclosed by the cubic curve, with the surface film changing interplay of light and shade as the curvature changes. Simultaneously, light and shadow are projected on the surrounding cityscape to provide a rich environment. Taipei Pop Music Center, Arashi. Located in Taipei, Taiwan, on a large site, this music center is connected with 5 functions: hall, library, exhibition space, live house, office, outdoor auditorium, and 7 points of the theater, as well as an outdoor theater with a desk covered in green. A vague space appears in various places, outside and inside, creating the experience as if you're walking around the city. Warming huts on ice. A hut designed on top of a small hill in Winnipeg, Canada, a place that is said to be one of the coldest in North America. The openings are configured to twist delicately with the curves reflecting light into the space more efficiently. Light shines into the interior that naturally warms it up, creating a place for people to relax. This provides a tranquil space for the local people, blending in with the natural beauty of Canada. Kameri Bogs Visitor Center. In the wilderness, as you walk through the forest, you'll come across a little opening at the entrance of the National Park wetlands. There will be a visitor center for visitors to the area. Sliding the place little by little, a slit will be formed and light shines into the continuous space and illuminates the interior sharply. People passing by are able to see glimpses of the activities inside the gap. This visitor center exists as a spinning nature and community of Latvia. Landscape of columnar jointing area. In order to express significance and importance of the Jeju Island landscape that are made up of multiple lava caves, the interior is dotted with vague spaces that are both inside and outside of the landscape. Each space takes in surrounding elements and changes with the season and time. Stockholm City Library, the book museum. An extension next to the Stockholm City Library by Erik Gunnar Asplund in Stockholm, Sweden. Reflecting Asplund's will, it inherits a proportion of his proposal that was not realized at that time. Facade designed with local wood covers the glass facade. The facade of the tree, which acts like a lattice, protects the book from light, while allowing natural light to enter and cast the shadow of the lattice inside, creating a depth. The library building is connected in the basement and seamlessly connects to the existing. An indigenous hut. Keywords: hut, vernacular, traditional practices, bamboo, padmasana, local craft. The vernacular architecture is largely associated with traditional practices and forms and presumed to be found in suburban and rural communities and historical centers. The vernacular is identified directly related to the past and undergoing extinction under threats from era transition and globalization, which are generally referred to the tradition and consciously designed by non-professional people. In other words, vernacular or indigenous is relocating to domestic, non-foreign, in connection with building and architecture of local life, behavior, style, materials, and geography. Moreover, the vernacular buildings are not constructed and designed by the architect, but by the society, and its relationship with the natural environment in mind and over generations. In this project, we are thinking about how the indigenous processes can develop in conformity with the natural ecological system. We are planning to propose a new architectural paradigm which able to use a set of architectural elements to create a vernacular architecture with the local techniques and processes sustain the nature and the environment. Cambodia has local building practices and vernacular ideas to create truly sustainable architecture in the environment. We plan to design that evoke the vernacular imagery and the local examples in its visual appearances or planning, which could create a familiar place for the community in harmony with its regional vernacular identities. The richness of the natural material and process, and the significance of the vernacular craft and identities, which can tell a true story of Khmer to experience.
This is a solo exhibition for 2014 Fusion 2.0 paper cake and membrane silicon. This is our office also in Nagoya, but already closed here. Now we have a Tokyo and Paris. Yeah. This one using just a film, transparency or partition. We are discussing in the meeting room, and we have a counter for the bar. This one for the exhibition also in our office. And this is a competition idea, the visitor center in Latvia. And this is a facade of the Salon Fromage in Paris. It is a museum, so just a renovation, additional buildings, reconnecting. And jewelry design is a minimum design as architecture. It's a renovation for the Salon Fromage Paris, France. For the standard apartment in Tokyo, Japan.
It's been real long. but thank you for this opportunity in the Philippines. In the future, I would like to promote urban and architecture activities in the Philippines. In January 2020, I went to scuba diving to several islands. The night I was about to return to Japan, the Tao volcano, the southern part of Luzon Island in the Philippines, erupted on January 12. All flights to Japan were cancelled. When the coronavirus comes down, I would like to visit the Philippines again. I apologize for having to speak to you from Japan today. We are also looking forward to seeing you in Japan. Thank you for your attention today.
Thank you. Let's finish.
Hello? Hello, thank you so much, Architect Kotaro-san.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, thank you very much as well. We are also looking forward to seeing you some other time in Manila.
Yeah.
So, of course, yes. Yeah, I know it's been since 9 years since we last met in Japan.
Yeah.
So, we have few questions here from our audience. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, okay. Okay, Derek, can you choose some comments from our comment section?
Okay, this
Okay,
question is actually
yes,
from me.
from you.
So so Kotaro-san, you talked about having a practice without a basically an office as a operational requirement for the business, and then you have your architects working from home.
Yeah.
And these days, it has now become the norm. Can you talk about the challenges you faced early on in deciding into this digital nomad setup?
Yeah. I think that's easier to work than than before, and also I think we can work with the international staff, but working as family. Do you understand? So in our house, we have a family working as with family, but
Yeah.
connecting to the international staff. So and also we can work 24 hours, but each staff will work just only 8 hours. But not, it's around the world we are working different work hours. So I think
Yeah.
that's for example this movie, this video. One staff from India is making, and the other staff in Japan is organizing, and the other
Mhm.
staff in US, America, is the final arrangement they did. So in 24 hours, everybody works in different country and different hours like that. So I think it's easier to finish everything.
I see. I see. So I think what you mean is when people work from different countries from all over the world,
Mm.
their 8 hours is staggered. So, like,
Yeah,
let's say in Japan or in this side of the world, we wake up first. Huh? We're the first
Yes,
to wake
yes,
up
yes.
from this side of the world. After the Japan office does their work, the
yeah,
staff from India will be able to
yeah. Continue to work. Yeah,
continue to work for their next 8 hours, and then the staff from maybe Paris will continue to work for their next 8 hours,
yeah,
and then staff from the US will continue to work for their next 8 hours. So basically, the work doesn't stop.
yeah. Exactly.
Nice. And you have this setup since when? When did you start having this
Hmm.
setup?
Where did you watch?
When did you
When did
start
you?
with this setup?
When did we start digital nomad stuff working?
Yes,
Yeah, the
when
24
did you
hours
start the
format.
digital nomad? Yes.
It's starting since 2018.
Oh wow.
2018. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
At first, it was different. Each country has a gap for
Mhm.
math difference. So, for example, if we want to work in just only Paris or Tokyo,
Mhm.
for example, cheap country, if some stuff comes from cheap country, I think it's really difficult. For example, 10 times higher in Japan,
Yeah.
for example.
Yep.
So some people can come to Japan, our office, and can work as for us because. And sometimes some people can't pay, for example, air ticket to come to Japan also. And the first month, few months, they have to pay for the house money.
Mhm.
They can't sometimes. So we thought starting the digital nomad system at first.
Nice. Nice.
So everybody all over the world can work together now.
Nice. And now it has become the norm with COVID and everything that's happening. Like our setup today. We are hosting from the Philippines, but our co-host is in Singapore, and you are in Japan.
Yes, that's
So,
it. Like that.
so it's similar. Similar. Okay. Can I also ask a question about the Notre Dame competition?
Yeah.
How did the citizens or the people from Paris react to your proposal?
How is it?
How
Citizen?
did they react with your proposal? Did they welcome your proposal of a roof garden, or were they uh, off by the proposal? Because typically, well, as far from what I know, Paris is a very historical city.
Yeah. So we
And,
couldn't touch everything. Just we made a roof garden and
yep.
the the spire on roof. Just a structure we made. The shape is the same and keeps everything, but made just the roof garden. And there's a void after the burning, but the void also keep it. So we don't touch everything just for the history. We have to remember that. So just we keep. Mm.
Nice. And you won the fifth place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations to that.
Yes.
And I remember the picture you showed of that interior of Notre Dame with the skylight.
Yeah.
You kind of see the trees on the roof.
Mm.
The inside of the church really felt like it's underground because of that.
Yeah.
It sort of felt like a cave inside.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Really nice.
So,
I think he's trying to share the.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, ready? Yeah.
Nice. Yep, you had a picture of it earlier that really was sort of a ethereal feel. There you go. There.
Yeah,
So
the hole here, the sunlight is coming here to down.
yep. So it kind of feels like you're in a cave, which is really nice because those big churches they really feel like you're in a cave and you really worked on that. Let me see. Oh, here. Another question from me. We saw some of your projects with some common features, especially the lattice with the circular holes, and you talked about it being inspired by the Kiyomachiya, which I think is the lattice work in old Japanese houses.
It's made by aluminum.
I'm sorry,
Made by aluminum.
aluminium. Ah, okay, okay, I see, I see. It's very, aluminum is a very Versatile material.
Yeah. The other one, the paper, also we have.
The paper, is it? What do you
Yeah.
call paper specifically? It's just
So
on paper.
this is aluminium, but this one,
There.
this one, that one also the paper here, the behind.
Nice.
Yeah. That
Nice.
one. That also the behind there the paper, and we just make a CAD file. Then they can print out by cutting automatic. And then they're including the glass fiber material inside of paper. So after burning, they can't burn also.
I see. So the material is a mix of fiberglass and paper.
Yeah. So
So
we
it
can
does.
use it in the commercial space, hotel, shop, boutique, everything.
Nice. It also makes the material, the paper, more resilient to tearing,
Mm.
makes the paper stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question here from Terrence.
Ronson.
Terrence Ronson. Have you ever worked on a hotel project? How do you vision the hotel room of the future?
Yeah, of course we worked hotel project also, and when I worked in director office at Milan hotel, I did it also. The other hotel there's so many, but some project we can't publish. It's a yeah. So today I show just only approval project for showing.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, hotel room and front counter. Yeah.
Nice. We have some comments here also. Playful design works. And we have a question from my co-host, Adrian.
What are the challenges, if any, did your office encounter due to the pandemic?
No. Nothing as normal.
That's normal, ah. That's
No,
good.
no changing. For
So maybe your work from home model is really, really effective, ah.
yeah.
Yes.
Now
Okay.
we are thinking all not all most of our staff want to the move in Japan also the other country. So for example, I'm thinking also by the sea or top of the mountain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we can move there. We can work.
Nice.
So, mm.
As long as there's an internet connection, you can work.
Architecture site is always an international. So it's not only the center of the Tokyo. So we don't have to stay to the center of Tokyo. So we can move everywhere in the international. Uh,
Right. You guys were prepared before the world was prepared. Kotaro and his
Horiuchi.
team is already adapting to the new normal.
yeah, since 2018.
Yeah, this 2000 since 2018. Yes. We have a question regarding. I think you mentioned that you used Rhino.
Yeah, we gonna use Rhino, Max, and the
Yeah,
Grasshopper.
we have a question here. In your opinion, do you think it's necessary for architects these days to learn about those new software, those algorithm-based software like Rhino or Grasshopper?
Yeah, of course we use. So we need. Yeah. Some
Maybe
people say for the architecture we don't have to use, but I think for thinking the shape, volumes, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, everybody needs to learn Rhino. Everybody needs to move
And
into a office-less setup with
yes.
your workstations, and then Rhino and Grasshopper.
So
Nice.
from those softwares, from Rhino and Grasshoppers, in which it is an algorithm based software, how do you actually come up or play with the forms that your designs should have?
I don't understand what.
I mean, what I mean is that how is your design process in terms of form finding?
Uh, so, ね、just I think as the first time we're gonna use for the volume study with Grasshopper and interior design also we're gonna use Grasshopper and for example ceiling design and wall design is normally our design is continuing. So we are using always the Grasshopper if I know. And for the plus case, we're gonna use this, and then when we decided the shape and everything, we 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 gonna use the other CAD or something.
Cat, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Another question.
Yeah.
With the various design projects you have, from a large scale structure to industrial design products and jewelry, I noticed that voids, curvilinear lines, or patterns are common design elements. What are your design inspirations or considerations? Does it vary in each project?
全然わかんなかったね。I couldn't
Fair.
understand. なんて水
So basically, there's a common theme going on in your design work with curvilinear lines and the holes, the algorithm based lattices. I think she is asking, what are your design inspirations? Where do the forms come from? Where do you start with your form finding? Yeah.
なんだろうな。I don't know. When I walking in the town, city, or something. I don't know.
Walking.
Yeah, walking or in the train, in the running by bicycle. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Um,
basically, you're saying you're finding inspiration everywhere in Japan.
Yeah,
You just travel. When you walk, you see something interesting, and then you figure
yeah,
out how to apply that in your design, something like that.
yeah.
Nice. Actually, just
Like inspiration by the other something. Yeah, I don't know.
design. Japan is actually really inspiring. I've been there once, and we really enjoyed walking the whole day.
For example, I can get inspiration from, for example, the fashion.
Fashion.
Yeah, the other art, the museum, gallery. Yeah, not only the architecture. I think architecture is really already complicated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you find inspiration in other forms of art also.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Okay.
why we also exhibit always exhibition or exhibition. Now in Tokyo, we have 4 places for exhibition since last year to this year.
Nice.
So in the future in Philippines, yeah,
Yes, please. In the future in the Philippines,
yeah,
please let us know if you're here in the Philippines, so
yes.
we can meet up.
Grab
Okay.
a beer.
Have a beer. Share a beer. Right? Share a toast.
yeah.
Okay, there's a few more questions if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Okay. Here. There's a little bit more of a practical kind of question. How do you deal with clients' budget with your design visions? Because your visions are really, for me, wow, really amazing, fantastical. Almost for me, thinking, oh, that's gonna be impossible to build here. And you mentioned in one of your projects, I think you also use 3D printing. So, how
Yeah.
does your design vision with the client's budget How do you make sure that your vision is executed?
For me, the client budget is the most important thing. So at first, we need to think about it. Then we propose some idea that we don't have a right for the deciding. Just the client can have the deciding right. So we just only propose always with budget also. And after that, the client choose the which idea is the best. So for example, some idea is more than the budget sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We arrange always just the budget is same and the cheaper budget also we can propose. So in some option of the idea has a different, for example, material or organization, everything is different. Then after that, client will choose. Yeah.
Okay, just like what happens most of the time in projects, there's really an emphasis on the client budget, and we as architects need to provide options for the client, especially in the start of the conversation, just to see where our vision and the client budget can meet. Yeah, nice. Okay. Another question. This is a question coming from me. How did you feel when you saw those lamps that you designed in a
Some,
Tom and Jerry cartoon?
some,
Yeah, the lamps, the
some.
the lamps from Salon du Fromage. You mentioned it was included in the Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah,
How did
yeah.
it feel?
We just studied how do we make a hole. So not at first not only the circle. We tried the rectangle or everything hole, but finally we choose the rectangle and rectangle hole and circle. But some media say as a Tom and Jerry cheese shapes. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, but we didn't think about cheese shape.
I see. I thought there was a connection between Salon du Fromage and the
Yeah,
And
cheese
Tom and Jerry.
lamp. It's a
yeah,
nice. There's a nice connection with
yeah. Some media.
storytelling wise. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, here's another practical question.
Yeah. Oh, no.
How is it like working with structural engineers with your curvilinear designs? How do you make the engineers follow your design intent without increasing construction budget? From Mikey of ITC. So basically here, um,
He's asking
there's
about your relationship with the engineers.
your relationship with engineers because of your designs. And most of your designs we saw doesn't have like columns in between.
Mhm.
So it must be a engineering feat to design those kinds of structures.
So we need the engineers to order the calculation of structure. For example, in Japan, there's earthquake, so we need to think about earthquake. Yeah. So facade is important structure. So, for example, we have a concrete wall, but we
Mhm.
adjust get a facade. For example, double facade, double skin, or aluminum. Of course, we need a structure.
Mhm.
So more expensive. For example, if we add the other facade,
Mhm.
but total budget is always same. So we have to think about in the budget.
Budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the photos you showed us, those are the visions. And sometimes, in between execution and the vision, there's compromise between the vision and the engineering. So we have to stay within budget, what's practical,
Yeah.
so possibly some of those. Okay. Agree. Okay. I just noticed behind you, you have your wine glasses on the table.
Yeah. This one. Yeah. Right.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. Nice. So besides architecture, you also design, what do you call those? Glassware, jewelry.
Yeah. Always we are thinking about the architecture, facade, inside or exterior or something. So it's the same thing. For example, if it's glass, the jewelry. So we are thinking about the as a facade, like a glass here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are trying to make a new product always. Just
Right.
this wine glass starting to sell from next month.
Mm. And that's available commercially, the glass you made.
Yeah.
Ah, you can buy that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not made for a client specifically. No.
You can buy in Philippines. I
Ah,
think
nice.
maybe if you buy in Philippines, I think additional cost for the delivery.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course. Of course.
we need to ask to the manufacturer.
Okay. I see. I see. Okay. I think we have last. Can you take last two questions?
Good. Okay.
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 Tamps, do you have a question?
From Irvin De La Torre. Can you see that direct?
Ano doon?
Okay, yung the protruding. Yeah,
Protruding steel plate from
yeah.
what project kaya to?
From Irvin De La Torre. Hello, just curious. What is the function of the protruding steel plate from the door? Is it rainwater collection? Anong project kaya to?
I don't know. No, what project?
Protruding. I think he's asking about the facades that you have been that you showed to us, especially those who have the aluminum facades with the
What's on the apartment?
hmm, at the art at the studio.
The studio.
Say at the studio. Thank you, Irvin, for watching Arktoberfest.
わかる。しかもこう固まっちゃってる。
Or studio. Sorry. Parang hindi ko ma-imagine, hindi ko maalala kung ano yun.
So it's the and light.
Waterproof, right? You want to about waterproof?
This one?
Yeah? No? It waterproof is already protected by inside facade. So this facade is additional facade, so no protecting by water.
Mm.
At the top, coping metal has a waterproof. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, can I ask another question from this image?
Okay.
Okay. Earlier on, you were talking about this salon de fromage
Mhm.
to be open to the elements.
Yeah.
You said the temperature in Paris is perfect for cheese,
Yeah.
right? So basically, this whole space is not air conditioned. It's open to the
Yeah.
open
Exactly.
air. Oh, nice, nice. How do you practically?
Actually, there is an air conditioner, but the warm air is lights up always. So first floor there is a restaurant for the
Mhm.
chief, but warmer air is coming to the first floor. So first floor in the restaurant is warm always. Just only one floor can be cold
Oh,
at the temperature of the house.
so on the lower part of the structure, that's where the temperature is colder.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So it's nice and warm
Yeah.
on the second floor.
Mhm.
All right. Um, Last question on the digital nomad.
Okay.
Okay. If like us here in the Philippines, if you want to adapt your style of digital nomad setup, what would you advise? What suggestions would you give us in starting to adapt this digital nomad style?
To the Philippine
Yes,
company.
because here in the Philippines, there we are still, more or less office based, and as much as possible, we don't want to take our work home. But for now, we have no choice. So everybody's adjusting. Everybody's trying to cope up with especially in construction. We can't actually be away from the site, so we have to go to the site. And sometimes the people on the site or other teams really need to meet with them personally. In your video, you mentioned there's just occasional board meetings and occasional face-to-face meetings. If you want to adapt to that kind of a setup, what suggestions or advice would you give us?
難しい. It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Difficult.
You can adapt, but there's some risk sometimes, I think, if you're going to start now. But at first, it's a little bit difficult, but I think in the few months, you can work as normal, I think. That's the main is difficult, I think. But I think after that, it's really easier to work together. So I think I will propose this system.
Okay. So there you have it, everyone watching. If you want to be a digital nomad, it's gonna be an uphill climb in the first parts, but later on, it's gonna be easier for everyone. Everybody will be safer. And like Kotaro is practicing all over the world internationally with with a home base in Japan in Paris, but his
Everywhere else.
office is everywhere. So we look forward, Kotaro, to for you opening probably an office here. Maybe seeing some of your works also.
Already.
There you go. There you go. So maybe also seeing some of your works, actual works, when the world opens up and we can visit Japan or Paris in the future.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'd like to thank you, Kotaro, for joining us this Saturday morning, sharing with us a couple of hours of this morning with the viewers of Arktoberfest. We thank you for accepting our invitation and answering a few of our questions. We love your presentation, your amazing work. I was a little bit starstruck with you having on the show, and your
Yes.
work is really mind blowing. So thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Kotaro-san. We will bring you backstage as we close this episode. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will see you.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you soon. All right.
See you
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay,
Yun.
guys, that's it for the first episode of Arktoberfest for today. So, ang dami nakaka-starstruck, no, Chi?
Kanina naghang ako eh. Parang,
Nakaka-starstruck siya. Parang nung unang episode natin with William T. Ganun ang feeling ko.
Oo, yung feeling mo ready ka when you come into the episode. Tapos nung biglang
Yeah.
ipasok mo, parang, wait.
Wow, ano.
Pero yun,
Yeah, so,
pero ano pa lang, nagsisimula pa lang araw natin. Tamps.
yes, nagsisimula pa lang, yes, ayun.
Mag-ano.
So,
Lobat.
lolo, tayong dalawa na magkasama, mamaya. Okay, guys, we
Oo.
still have 4 more episodes for today. 3 more speakers and 1 closing ceremonies for our closing, the party, the online party for our Arktoberfest 2020. So guys, stay tuned. And this is, first up, we will have Silvestro Reale for contactless technology driven by the new normal.
1 p.m. yan. Ang gagawin natin,
1
Tamps, is isang stream na lang silang tatlo. So once they
Guys,
log in,
seamless na lang tayo.
dire-diretso na
Okay.
sila.
Okay,
Yan.
so and then next stop by 2 p.m. we will have Alberto Vuan,
Yes. I
automated
think
and unattended sanitation technology that are blockchain certified. And next up for the last part is Ricardo Yosa
Ayosa,
Asano
Asano.
by 3 p.m. Smart home advantages and opportunities. So Oktoberfest wouldn't be possible without our sponsors from Boysen, the number one paint, Crown Pipes, of course, the number one pipes, Duma Floors, of course, the number one floors. And of course, this is powered by ITC Corporation. So salamat, Mikey.
Salamat,
Yeah,
Mikey.
salamat, Mikey.
And with
Ayan,
that,
guys. And with that, see you later. Guys,
yes.
later just okay, later we will post the stream again. So hopefully check us out, check in. So yeah.
Oo. Actually,
That,
naka-post
that,
na.
naka-post na. Papasok na lang
Naka-post
kayo
na.
by 1 p.m.
Oo.
Bibili pa
Hanapin
ako
niyo
ng alak. Bilisan mo.
Hanapin niyo yung 1 p.m. Lagay niyo na sa reminders niyo. Lahat ng interested sa contactless technology, tune in. And don't be shy to ask questions, please. Walang dumb question dito.
Oo, walang dumb question dito. And also, for tonight, via Zoom siya, you yourself can join the Zoom
Yes.
meeting.
Yes.
The Zoom party. Zoom party
Zoom
na siya.
party.
Hindi na siya. Yes.
Zoom inuman to, inuman. So,
Zoom Nomad.
please join us in the rest of the team in celebrating this year's Arktoberfest 2020. And this has been your VP for VP na lang. VP Archie and our international chapter ambassador, Architeki Adrian Tampolino, saying thank you and
Thank you. See you later.
see you later this afternoon. Bye.